Hi and welcome back to the channel. In today's video we're going to be talking about the importance of carrying a high quality EDC camera. And to help me with that we're going to be talking about this camera right here. This is the Ricoh GR IIIx. Well, for the first time in a long time, we are not in the city. We're on a little family trip in McCall, Idaho. If you don't know where that is, it's just a few hours north of Boise, and it's very pretty this time of year. We just so happen to be up here during the peak golden colors of aspen trees in early October. So, perfect season to be up here. The nights are nice and cool, the days are warm enough. The kids are loving it. Now, before you congratulate me for making it out of town on a relaxing getaway, I have a 4-year-old and a teething 5-month-old, so these past couple days have been anything but relaxing. I'm going to apologize ahead of time if this video sounds kind of long-winded and rambly. I didn't really have time to plan it out, but I'm here on location and I really want to take some time to talk while this idea is fresh in my head before I go home and lose track of it due to lack of sleep. All right, so I did get very rambly. I think lack of sleep plus only having like a vague idea of what I wanted to say really didn't work well for me. So we're back. We're going to talk about this from inside the van once again. It's very simple. An EDC camera like the Ricoh GR IIIx or the Fuji X100VI, there are nice cameras to have for a couple main reasons. One, they're small enough that you can bring them with you every day, which makes it very convenient. And two, they are better quality than a cell phone, and the shooting experience is better as well. And the latter of those two things is way more important to me. I pursue photography not just for the end result, but also for the process of capturing the photos. So if I enjoy the process of taking those photos, I'm going to be more likely to take photos than I would if I don't enjoy the process. Using something like a cell phone, it's kind of boring, it's kind of cheap, it never really turns out the way I want it to, but using something like a dedicated camera, I will always enjoy the process more and thus am more likely to get photos that I'm happy with. And those are the two main points. Now, you don't need to have the Ricoh, obviously. There's lots of different small point and shoot style cameras, like the Sony CyberShot or PowerShot, Canon PowerShot. I mix those two up. I've used those in the past. There's small film cameras like those Olympus cameras that people are starting to carry. It just gets you out of using a cell phone and into using something that's more enjoyable and more photography centric. So those are the two reasons why I am so excited about my small cameras. I'll probably be more excited about them than I am about my big cameras because these I bring with me every day. So it's almost like they're like my friends. Okay, back to some shots of McCall. Now, the photos I just shared, those were all captured with the Fuji X-H2S. I've been kind of experimenting with this as my photo camera since it's a little more substantial than this, and yet not so big as like a full frame camera. And I used to shoot with the Fuji X-H2 for a while. This one has been kind of sequestered to being my video camera, but it's a very capable photo camera as well. I just haven't really given it the time of day since I've, had that mental block that this is for video, not for photo. But as you saw, photos turned out really good, if I do say so myself. The only issue I really had was the lens. This is a 10-24 f4 lens, not my preferred focal lengths, nor is it a high quality lens. Bought this used for a couple $100. and while it's good enough for video, it is not the best for photos. They turned out a little bit soft, a little bit of glow, a little chromatic aberration, but not terrible. And it did give it more of a filmic look, which we're all after. So yeah, all those photos, Fuji X-H2S, every other photo that I've been sharing in this video has been with the Ricoh GR IIIx, as this was the only other camera I decided to bring, which is kind of a big step. I usually travel with way too much photo gear, as you know. Along the same lines of, you know, point and shoot cameras are better than cell phones, I don't know if that's always the case. I'm definitely no cell phone camera expert. I know there are those on YouTube who are, so I'm not quite sure. But, you know, claiming to say that this camera right here is a 48 megapixel sensor, this one's got like a 24 megapixel sensor, I think. So you would think photos out of this one, so much better, but I feel like because the sensor on this camera must be so tiny, and the sensor on this one is full APS-C size sensor, you would certainly get better dynamic range, better color representation. The lens is better on the Ricoh than on the iPhone, so I feel like, you know, the megapixel number is kind of gimmicky to say that on an iPhone, but that's just my opinion. I feel like no matter what I do, I can't get good photos out of this one, and I've tried. Maybe I'll share some of the footage that I went out and used this as my photo and video camera once to potentially make a video, but it just wasn't really working too well. So I abandoned that idea. And yeah, the photos I got, while not terrible, I just didn't quite edit well, in my opinion. But pretty much every photo I've gotten out of the Ricoh has been great. So I don't think even though this has a 48 megapixel, it's going to make it better than this right here for your photography. There's just no way. So you might be wondering why I didn't bring my Fuji X100-6 up to McCall. I've featured the X100 series in 3 of my previous videos, and I just didn't feel like bringing it this time. I wanted to give some attention to the Ricoh, since I've had it for a while, but I haven't really shared it on this channel yet. And yeah, I thought it was time. It was a good time. You know, it's been a while since I've been shooting with that one. In the comments down below, I'd love to know if you carry a dedicated photo camera, or do you just trust your cell phone to take all your EDC photos for you? I choose to carry something like this every day. It goes in a bag like this, usually. But what's your system? I think EDC is such a fun topic to discuss because we all have different lifestyles, we all have different jobs, and so our EDC kind of changes depending on those situations. If you found this video helpful, really appreciate a thumbs up. It goes a long way in helping support the channel. And if you hadn't noticed, down in the description box below, I do have presets finally available. I've been working on these for a long time. They are filmic presets. I call them color grades since that's really all they affect in the photos. Hipsterpresets.com, go check them out. I had so much fun going out there doing some photography with my family, but that's all I have for today, so I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.